players, but hey,
that's right.
But they had a chance to bond.
Yes.
The Gonzaga now, they're going to turn it around and try and create some pressure on their own just to see how Arizona handles it.
Zane Johnson in the game for Arizona as Nick Wise feeds Hill.
Nice job by Nick Wise on the penetration and the blind bounce.
Pargo using that jump stop. Only Gonzaga player to score so far in the second half is Austin Day. They only have 2 hoops in almost 5 minutes.
And again, Arizona's philosophy, their strategy, their game plan coming into this, take Gonzaga out of the first option, then make them have to make some plays out on the floor. So far, Pargo has not been able to do that.
Hill
Travel.
through the lane, travel. 8 straight points for Arizona.
And again, a nice blind bounce from Nick Wise off the penetration as he draws about 3 defenders around him. And that's what Jordan Hill has the ability to do so well, to catch difficult, easy passes, whatever, and then explode into the rim.
Austin Day gave it off to Heitfeld. Now, I mean, I know it's easy to sit here and say this, Marcus. Does not Gonzaga have to go right at Jordan Hill?
I would go ahead, like right away, like yesterday. And Matt Bowden tried to do that a couple of possessions ago, and Jordan Hill did a nice job backing off. Jordan Hill, nice job of backing off Josh Heitfeld, but you know, it's going to be tough, I think, for Jordan Hill to continue to back off. At some point, he's going to challenge.
Well, Pargo went right at him, no whistle. Stephen Gray missing, long rebound, and Goodson got back on. Arizona flying. Nick Wise, Chase Budinger, and Jordan Hill.
Play that funky music.
Heitfeld has it spiked by Hill. The interesting thing was there was a loose ball there, and Dimitri Goodson backed up on defense for Gonzaga. It didn't matter. Nick Wise and Chase Budinger took care of business.
Nick Wise, great job orchestrating, and this is when this team is at its best in transition. When you've got the finishers in Jordan Hill and Chase Budinger, and even Jamel Horn, who can get up there with the best of them.
So Heitfeld to the line.
This will be a test of Gonzaga's composure. Again, some great wins. Won the Old Spice tournament and just played better than a lot of people expected them to here early on. But can they regroup and maintain their composure in some very adverse, in a very adverse environment?
Oklahoma State, Maryland, and Tennessee were their 3 wins in Orlando, and they, of course, won in Pullman Wednesday. They're playing UConn next weekend in Seattle. They go back, they play Tennessee a 2nd time this year. They play Memphis, just a great non-conference schedule like Arizona has done for years. Another setup for Hill. That's the goaltend. Jordan Hill is just chewing up Gonzaga inside.
Yeah, he is so athletic, and there you see Heitfeld Josh taking it off the rim for the obvious goaltend. But again, once again, Nick Wise was the guy who created that.
Can I ask you a question? Where's Amari now?
He should
watch the first game. He should be here watching this.
Watch it. He's sitting here watching his protege.
That is on Nick Wise. 2nd foul on Wise. That's the only breath holder right now for Arizona, because it's any of the big 3. They really haven't shown yet that they can play without those 3 men on the court.
Well, depth is a major issue, but when you lose the kind of talent that Jeff Withey, the latest recruit, to decommit, and not only that just decommit, but to transfer out of the school once the coaching change happened. So that's why their depth is so depleted.
If you notice Russ Pennell's subs here, he's not subbing the big 3. They stay out there. Jacobson and Fogg join them. Austin Day has 6 in the second half. We played 6.5 minutes. Gonzaga only has 2 baskets so far in this half.
That's the kind of defense that Russ Pennell saw down the stretch against San Diego State when Arizona went on a tremendous run the last 3 or 4 minutes of that game to put it away. Heitfeld, big for the rebound.
Well, Fogg now getting up in Pargo and slowing him. Finally, Pargo in and found Stephen Gray.
That's the kind of create some offensibility that Jeremy Pargo said NBA scouts wanted to see from him as he tested the draft waters after last season.
Pargo pulled his name out the very last day. And Mark Few yesterday was telling us how strong he thinks that whole process is, that he and his staff were in constant contact with Pargo, and that Mark Few kind of likes it the way it is right now. It allows the kid the best chance to make a smart decision. Yeah,
and as he talked about, I mean, the talent pool in you know, April, May is not that deep anyway. But Pargo, you see the Mohawk haircut, talked to him before the game. He talked about the fact that being out of Chicago, that Tim Hardaway, they have the same barber. And Tim Hardaway got his number from the barber, and now he calls Pargo a couple of times in the course of the season and checks up on him.
Does he remind you of Hardaway at all?
Not really. I mean, he you know, he doesn't have that UTEP two-step down that Tim Hardaway had, who could penetrate at will. And Tim was a great offensive player. I mean, 20-point per game scorer in the NBA. But this young man is strong.
Two-step. I like that.
The UTEP two-step, the killer crossover.
Yeah. They'll chase Budinger.
But I think Pargo needs to file a lawsuit against that barber. I mean, and that's just me. I mean, the Mohawk, I know it's in vogue, but
that's kind of the faux hawk. That's what they tell me. That's what it's called.
Yep.
Now Budinger, Hill, and Wise combined for 40 of Arizona's 49 points. 3 more.
They are playing with so much confidence offensively, and a lot of it is fueled by the tremendous defense that they've played so far here in this game.
Now there they went. Gonzaga went right in at Hill, and Hill's able to save it. That's finally out of bounds. So Heitfeld got the ball right where he likes it, and Jordan Hill defended without fouling.
Did a nice job on the inside, but Heitfeld was so effective against Washington State, against Aaron Baines. You know, not the most fleet-of-foot big guy around, but Heitfeld did a great job exploiting his speed, just dashing down the middle of the floor. Got some lobs for dunks, some great post-ups inside. He's got none of that in this game against Arizona.
Little bump en route. Stephen Gray picks up the foul for Gonzaga. Now these 3 juniors who've gone through so much in Arizona coming up huge today in Phoenix. Arizona leading undefeated 4th-ranked Gonzaga by 8 on the strength of the play of these 3 juniors who have experienced 3 head coaches and so much change in their time in Tucson.
Yeah, nice job again. Chase Budinger making the pass that leads to the pass that gets the assist. Nick Wise leading the fast break, a little scoop number, and then Nick Wise showing that he's got some range also as he gets a nice feed from Chase Budinger.
You see the numbers. Hill, who had his career high game, 25 points Wednesday night. Nick Wise is only 2 points from his career, or 3 rather, points from his career high. But Jordan Hill has played this 8 minutes and change of the second half without drawing another foul.
Yeah, he's done a nice job. And Gonzaga has tried to take the ball at him, but Jordan Hill has played smart basketball. He's backed off when he's had to. He's been lucky a couple of times on some reaches and some contact on the inside.
Russ Pendle stays with the big 3, and he's alternating the other 2. And there's another steal on an inbounds and an easy layup here for Goodson. Oh, a dunk for Goodson. Excuse me.
A little guy. Surprising you, 5'11", 164-pound freshman out of Spring, Texas. But don't count the Zags out of this.
So that's 2 steals off what would normally be routine inbound
plays, right? And that's a great defensive tactic by Gonzaga. Contest the inbound plays.
Hill tapping it up, Stephen Gray. Gonzaga trying to ramp up its fuel here. Baseline, out of bounds. On the baseline was Dimitri Goodson.
Pargo had a couple of options. He tried to find Goodson on the baseline, but also Josh Heitfeld screened and then slipped. It was wide open.